The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, Cyprus, an island at the crossroads of civilization. My name is Cara Kurtz, and I am Senior Business Development Coordinator at ASTA, and I will also dabble as the organizer for today's presentation. We are very happy to welcome today's presenter, Tassoula Mandarinis, the representative of Cyprus Deputy Ministry of Tourism in the USA. Before this role, Tassoula served as Director of North America for the Cyprus Tourism Organization. She managed the Cyprus promotions in the US and in Canada for over 20 years. Before we get started with her very informative presentation, I'd like to point out a few important features on your screen that will allow you to interact with us via the web. We'll be answering your questions at the end of this presentation. To ask a question, you will use your GoToWebinar pane. Near the bottom of this pane is an area that says questions. You can click the arrow next to where it says questions to open up a window pane that you'll be using to communicate with us. If you're having trouble hearing this presentation, please make sure that your speakers are turned on, and if you've called in, please try hanging up and dialing back in again. You can send me any technical issues via this questions pane, and I will try to answer them via the same pane to the best of my ability. Also in this pane is an area labeled Handouts. Here is where you can find a downloadable PDF copy of today's presentation. Please be sure to download this PDF before the presentation is over, as it is the only time it will be accessible. Please also note all audience members are muted. We certainly want to hear from you all, but with so many people on today's call, background noise would prove to be prohibitive, and we want to ensure that everyone can hear our entire presentation. Lastly, remember one of today's webinar attendees will win a Cyprus comprehensive wine guide and a bottle of Commandaria dessert wine, one of the oldest named wines in the world. You must be on this call from beginning to end in order to be eligible to win. And please remember, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for your on-demand viewing by early next week. Now it is my pleasure to welcome Tassoula.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tassoula Mandarinis, and I'm the representative for the Cyprus Deputy of Ministry of Tourism. I'm very happy to be here with you today, speaking to you about the beautiful island of Cyprus, the island of Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. Okay, give me 1 second because we're having a little bit. Okay, Cyprus. Cyprus is the third largest island in the Mediterranean Sea. It's the third largest actually after Sicily and Sardinia. It's a fairly large island, but it's very compact and very easy to explore. Cyprus, the island of our hearts. You can see a photo here of the Petra του Ρωμιού, or the Rock of Aphrodite. That's the legendary birthplace of Aphrodite, the goddess of love and beauty. According to mythology, she was born in Cyprus, and this is why Cyprus is called the island of Aphrodite. It's a very beautiful spot in Cyprus. A lot of people like to visit the area and take photos. Cyprus. This is a map of the island. Lefkada, it's the capital of Cyprus at the center of the island, and it's the largest city in Cyprus. Second largest city is Limassol or Limassol, followed by Larnaca, Paphos, and the Trothas Mountains. Cyprus is very easily accessible from everywhere in Europe, Greece, and the Middle East. Cyprus can be combined with the neighboring countries such as Greece, Israel, Egypt, Jordan. It's very easily accessible, and I suggest to all travel agents to recommend to their clients visiting the areas to combine the island with the neighboring destinations. You can do programs Cyprus and Greece, Cyprus and Israel, Cyprus and Egypt, Cyprus and Jordan. I mean, the possibilities are endless. There are frequent daily flights from all main European airports. There are daily flights from Athens, London, Amsterdam, Frankfurt, Zurich. Anywhere in Europe, there is daily connection with Cyprus. There's also a very good connection with Israel, several flights a day, as well as several flights a day from Athens with Aegean Airlines and other European airlines that fly from Athens to Cyprus. Cyprus is an island with 11,000 years of history and civilization. It is a haven for archaeology lovers. You can find on the island Neolithic settlements that are more than 10,000 years old to spectacular Greco-Roman theaters and ruins. This is the Paphos Castle, located in the town of Paphos, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's true, Cyprus, yeah, it's very compact in size. It's approximately the size of the state of Connecticut, and it offers many diverse landscape and image changes, from quaint picturesque villages to valleys to seaside resort areas. There's a lot of hiking trails, the Trothas Mountains, very beautiful landscape that changes from one location to another. As you can see here, Pomos, the village of Pomos, some of the beaches in the Protaras area. There are two airports in Cyprus. The main international airport is in Larnaca. The code is LCA, and there's a smaller airport in the town of Paphos. Most of the flights, they get into Larnaca. Larnaca, it's about 30 minutes from the capital of Cyprus, Nicosia, and about 45 minutes from the second largest city, which is Limassol. The airport in Larnaca, it's ultra modern. It was renovated a couple of years ago, and it's a beautiful airport, very safe, and you'll find a lot of European airlines flying into Larnaca. This is a view of the capital city of Cyprus, Nicosia, or Lefkosia as we say it in Greek. Lefkosia, it's the only divided capital city in the world at the moment. It is a very picturesque town where you have the old part of the city surrounded by the Venetian walls. As you can see, these are the Venetian walls surrounding the old part of Nicosia. A lot of museums. This is an aerial view of Nicosia within the Venetian walls. Some of the neighborhoods, colorful neighborhoods with beautiful architecture where you can walk around and you can find a lot of cafes, taverna, galleries, shops. The Archaeological Museum, it's the biggest museum on the island, located in Nicosia, largest collection of archaeological artifacts. Here another couple of views from the capital city of Nicosia. Larnaca, that's the city where the international airport is. You can see a beautiful view of the flamingos that fly in the salt lake. Larnaca has the biggest salt lake on the island, and we get a lot of flamingos during the winter time that they emigrate in Cyprus. Near Larnaca is Lefkada Village, which is famous for its lace making and silverware. According to mythology, Leonardo da Vinci visited Lefkada village and bought some lace making that today decorates one of the cathedrals in Milan. And in Larnaca, it's also the home of St. Lazarus Church. It's a very famous church named after St. Lazarus. The Larnaca Fortress on the seafront. And here we go to Limassol. Limassol is the second largest city in Cyprus. It's a city famous for its beautiful hotels, beautiful beaches, as well as nightlife. Limassol has a beautiful marina that was built a couple of years ago that gets a lot of yacht visitors. And here is the old part of Limassol. It's very charming with the small cafes, tavernas where people can take a stroll, they can enjoy a nice meal, visit some galleries, and enjoy the beautiful, architecture of the area. Some of the hotels, as I said, Limassol is the home to many of the luxury hotels on the island. It also accommodates a lot of conferences. It's on the seafront, most of the hotels, from 5-star hotels to 4-star hotels. The possibilities are endless. Outside Limassol, you will find the Sanctuary of Apollo and Colossi Castle, two important archaeological sites on the island, and should be included on everyone's itinerary. Colossi Castle is known for the Knights of Templar. It was one of the places where they make the Cumandaria wine that Cara mentioned earlier, one of the oldest named wines in the world, made in Cyprus by the Knights of Templar. Here we go to, here we're going to see one of the most important archaeological sites in Cyprus, the Kurion Greco-Roman Theater, right outside Limassol. It's one of the ancient cities. It's a spectacular archaeological site, and throughout the year they have a lot of performances, drama performances, concerts, where you can enjoy at night at Kurion Theater. The theater was built in the second century BC, and again, it should be included pretty much on any itinerary, as well as, you know, on trips from the cruises that they visit the island. Again, this is the birthplace of Aphrodite, and we're going into the town of Paphos. It's a very charming town. Here you see a night view of the Petra Turomniou. The whole town of Paphos, the old part of town, Paphos is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. It's a small, charming town, a lot of rich history, a lot of culture. Here is Lachi, the fishing port in Paphos, a very charming town near the baths of Aphrodite. A view of the archaeological park of Paphos with the tombs of the kings, overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. St. Paul's Pillar, which is an important site for religious tours. According to history, St. Paul visited Cyprus on his first missionary journey, and he was arrested by the Romans, where he was tied on a pillar at outside this church, and he was flogged 40 times. So if you have any religious groups going to Cyprus, Steps of St. Paul, they definitely should include this important religious site. On the right, you see a picture of from the Paphos archaeological parks, the Roman mosaics from the Roman villas. They're very well preserved. Here it's a view of the lighthouse of Paphos, as well as another beautiful sunset from the area. Amochostos region. The Amochostos region, it's very popular for its crystal clear beaches. It's a beach destination for a lot of Europeans. They love to visit that part of the island for, you know, in sun and sea vacation. Cyprus has some of the has the cleanest beaches in all of Europe, and this is according to a European Union report. Fig Tree Bay is one of the top 3 best beaches in the world over here. That attracts a lot of visitors. The area of Amochostos doesn't have a lot of archaeological sites, but it does have a beautiful monastery at the center of the town, the Agianapa Monastery, which, you know, a lot of people visit if they're in the area. Again, some of the beautiful beaches of Cyprus. As I said, we have a lot of blue flag beaches, very safe, very warm waters, a lot of water sports in this area, a lot of nightlife for the younger people. Also, it's a nice area for weddings and honeymoons. Here we're looking at Trothas Mountains on the center of the island, with a lot of Byzantine churches and monasteries. In the Trothas Mountains, there are 10 Byzantine churches that are on the UNESCO list of cultural and natural treasures. They are spread all over the Trothas Mountains. On the right, you see a picture of Kiko Monastery. It's one of the richest monasteries on the island. It possesses one of the 3 surviving icons ascribed to St. Luke. The former president of Cyprus, Makarios, was buried. If you know him, he was buried near the monastery. Here you see a picture, on the left, it's a picture of one of the UNESCO Byzantine churches. the beautiful frescoes. On the Trothas Mountains, we also have beautiful picturesque villages. This is a photo of Omodos village. Some of these villages, they have wineries. You can do wine tasting. You can walk around the village. You can do activities such as cooking. You can see how they make the halloumi cheese, how they make the wines, how they make olive oil. Here again, this is the Holy Cross Monastery in Omodos villages. Most of these villages in the Trothas Mountains, they have beautiful churches. They have monasteries where you can visit. You can walk around the picturesque streets, interact with the locals. Left is Kalopana Jody's village. It has a beautiful hotel, a small hotel. Kakopetria on the right. It's another charming village in Cyprus. That's the old part of the town. Very relaxing environment. Several waterfalls, not big waterfalls, but we have smaller waterfalls all over the Trothas Mountains. And the area has a lot of hiking trails, a lot of outdoor activities you can do, a lot of festivals during the fall in the villages, small festivals have to do with the wine or products from grapes, such as palouze, shuko, local products that we make in Cyprus. You can find a lot of this festival during the fall in these mountain villages. Cyprus, it's a very popular destination for conferences and incentives. We have state-of-the-art facilities in most of the hotels. I will recommend for conferences and incentives because you have a variety of hotels. They do have the state-of-the-art facilities. Most of the hotels, they have beautiful conference centers. There's a lot of team building activities you can do on the island. As I said, 5-star, 4-star, a lot of spas, hotels with golf courses. This is Park Lane Resort. It used to be Le Méridien Hotel. This is the New Amara Hotel, beautiful 5-star deluxe property, perfect for conferences and incentives. Another view from some of the hotel rooms on the island. There's a 4-season hotel. It's not part of the chain, but it's a 5-star beautiful property. The pool, you're overlooking the ocean. So definitely in the location of Cyprus, being at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, it's a perfect location to have a conference, your conference. There's nice weather pretty much all year round with more than 365 days of sunshine. This is a smaller, small boutique hotel, charming property. But, you know, being a location of Cyprus, being at the crossroads of Europe, Asia, and Africa, it makes it very convenient for companies that they have representatives all over the world to come to Cyprus and meet for their conference. Agritourism. I'll speak to you a little bit about agritourism. As you can see, it's traditional homes in villages on the island. Several villages participate in this program. You know, where these owners of the traditional homes, they receive some funding from the government and then converted their houses to small hotels or bed and breakfast agritourism houses where they can accommodate guests. Very traditional. You can experience the country life in these villages and enjoy, you know, the beautiful scenery. You can do activities of the country, such as a little bit of biking. You can learn how to cook. You can learn how to, you know, make halloumi cheese, they make the wines, the olive oil. So for an authentic experience, definitely, I would stay in an agritourism house. This is some of these houses. You can see how they're decorated very traditionally. So Cyprus is an island that has nice weather pretty much all year round. It's an all year round destination with more than 360 days of sunshine. Even in the winter time, it never rains much. Temperatures in February, probably they're in the around 70s, mid 70s, and sunny. So for Americans that are visiting the area, they will go for the culture and the history. So, you know, February, March, it's very affordable. And I would suggest to people, visiting from here to go around that time to where they can save money on airfare and the hotels, because most of the hotels, they have up to 50% discounts. And they can combine Cyprus with the neighboring destinations. So again, it's an all year round destination. As we said, springtime, it's a beautiful time to visit the island with the flowers full blossom. It's very green. It's very pleasant to go outside and do, you know, hiking. You can do and enjoy the nature. You can even go to the beach in, you know, March, April. Cypriots don't go to the beach until it's June, July, but you know, for visitors, it's a good time. It's still very warm. So here you can see the warm-hearted, friendly, hospitable people. We can see our friend Bob here. He would love visiting this restaurant, and I wanted to include this photo just to, as I was thinking about him today. Pericles, it's the restaurant, and every time he was going to Cyprus with a group, he wanted to go there and eat because the guy was so friendly, so hospitable, just the authentic Cypriot hospitality, and he loved the food. He truly loved the food. Thinking about you, Bob. Again, Cypriots are known for the hospitality. They would invite you to their home. You go in the villages, and you don't see this in many countries, but you go in Cyprus, and I went a couple of times with groups, and one time I lost some of them, and then as I was looking for them, I found them in somebody's house, some old lady's house. She invited them in. She made the Cypriot coffee. She offered them the preserved sweets. They couldn't even communicate, but you know, the friendliness was there, the hospitality was there. You don't find this in many countries. And, enjoying, this is another group actually of travel agents where we took, enjoying the Cypriot hospitality and the delicious Cypriot food. So one of the most popular meals in Cyprus is meze, which is, it's a traditional meal. Everybody should have it when they're in Cyprus. It can be a fish meze or it can be a meat meze. The Cypriot cuisine traditionally is very healthy. It's influenced by the Mediterranean diet, a lot of olive oil, fresh seafood, a lot of fresh vegetables, you know, from a lot of fresh herbs from the area. You can see Cypriot coffee and the pumpkin kolokotes, which is a pumpkin, Cypriot pumpkin pie, the meatballs here, capers and lemons. These are the preserved sweets. Typically in Cyprus, we turn every fruit into a preserved sweet. From the black one is the walnut. We do bitter oranges, from zucchini to, you name it, anything you can imagine. Figs. But a meze is a traditional meal of different dishes. You can get up to 30 different dishes of cold and hot appetizers. So you get to taste a little bit of everything. You know, from dips to tarama to tahini, salads, grilled halloumi cheese, which is a cheese made in Cyprus, a lot of seafood, which makes me hungry now. Daktila, fingers, as they're called. It's a traditional dessert of Cyprus. It's filled with almonds, sugar, cinnamon, and a little rose water, fried and then dipped in syrup. I'm drooling already. This is the halloumi cheese, the famous Cypress cheese. They say it's the cheese that doesn't melt. You can actually grill it. We eat it a lot in Cyprus. You can eat it grilled, or you can eat it, you know, cold. It's truly delicious. Cold, we have it with watermelon usually. A lot of fresh seafood again. If you guys are hungry, I guess everybody's hungry. And again, here we have the Cypriot wines, Kumandaria, one of the oldest named wines in the world. It's similar to port. It's sweet. It's truly delicious. some of the vineyards, a lot of wineries. We have a lot of boutique wineries and some fabulous wines made in Cyprus, especially the last decade. They improve a lot. And there are wineries in several, in the wine-producing villages called Krassochoria, as we say in Greek. They're located at the foothills of Trothas Mountains as well in the Paphos region. We have approximately 40 boutique wineries on the island. A lot of spas. As we say, healthy lifestyle, body, mind, and spirit. You can enjoy a lot of treatments in most of the hotels, relaxation, yoga, healthy lifestyle, if you're in Cyprus. And a lot of outdoor activities, from paragliding, there's biking, a lot of biking trails, mountain biking, city biking, beautiful scene, a lot of water sports, you name it, this time for action and adventure in Cyprus. You choose your level, what do you want to do? You can do from, easy hiking trails to something more challenging. A lot of hiking trails all over the island, from the Trothas Mountains up to the Paphos area to the Mohosos region. All the cities that offer hiking opportunities. There's all year round events on the island. This is the Carnival in Limassol, which is very famous, takes place typically in February. And there's a big carnival parade, the smaller carnival parades all over the city. Some of the blue flag cleanest bathing waters in Cyprus. And again, some cultural events in the villages. These are more festivals, dancing festivals, food festivals. Here they make, as you can see on the left is the older man holding shushuko, which is made out of grape juice, grape mast actually. So it's almonds in the middle on a thread, and then they dip it in this pudding until it gets a coating. And we have it in Cyprus as it's like a dessert, very unique Cypriot delicacy. Basket weaving. And this is why we love Cyprus. An island at the Eastern Mediterranean with 11,000 years of history and civilization. A beautiful island, a compact island, very friendly people, beautiful food, very easily accessible, very rich history, and some of the cleanest beaches in all of Europe. So I encourage everyone to visit Cyprus, to send your clients to Cyprus. You can very easily combine Cyprus with the neighboring countries. It's an all year round destination with beautiful weather pretty much all year round. So we'd love to have you all in Cyprus. I have to see your clients in Cyprus. Feel free to email me if you're interested in going on a farm trip to Cyprus, because we're working on some farm trips for next year and the following year. So we'd love to host you. Thank you.
Thank you so much to Sula for the amazing presentation. Let's go ahead and see what questions we have from the audience. A lot of accolades coming in. How many days do you recommend to visit Cyprus?
I would say the minimum of 4 days, because Cyprus is a fairly large island. As I said, it's the third largest island in the Mediterranean Sea. So just to get a little bit of a glimpse of the island, definitely minimum of 4 days, but you won't get bored if you stay 10 days. There's so many things to do and so many places to see. So a week, I would say a week, it would be perfect.
All right.
A minimum of 4 days if they don't have a week.
Let's see here. Can you visit Cyprus? Can a visit to Cyprus and Turkey be combined, or would you recommend that?
There's no direct, because of the Turkey that invaded Cyprus in 1974. There is no flight connection from Turkey to Cyprus. You have to go via Greece. So as long as you go through via Greece and enter through Larnaca or Paphos airport, yes, it can be done. But I would probably combine Cyprus more with, with Greece or Israel or the other neighboring countries, just because there is better connection, other than because from Turkey, You're not going to find flights to going to Cyprus, to Larnaca. What is the
Thank-
legal port of entry? Yes.
Are flights open to Cyprus right now?
Yes, absolutely.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
Can you please share with us your contact information?
Yes, they can email me at Go Cyprus, which is GOCYPRUS at AOL.com. Go Cyprus at AOL.com.
Thank you. Can you speak to us a little bit about the vaccination requirements?
Vaccination requirements, I will send to, whoever wants to, I can send them the latest updated information, but they ask for vaccination cards. They don't need to be quarantined at this point, as long as they're vaccinated. So, at this point, yeah, Cyprus, it's not a problem to visit the island as long as you're vaccinated.
Perfect, thank you. Do you have any villas that can be rented for a month?
Absolutely. There are several villas on the island that can be rented. The hotel apartments. There's the agritourism houses. So, remember when I show you the agritourism houses, the traditional homes in the villages, you can actually rent one of those for a month. And they're very affordable. And you can also rent, of course, a more modern luxury villa by the ocean or even a hotel apartment.
Perfect. Thank you, Tasula. Let's see here. Next question. It looks like there's a lot of cobblestone streets. Is everything going to be accessible for the handicapped?
The hotels are definitely, the cities they are. Some of the villages, some areas are accessible for the handicap, but if some of the villages, they do have the pedestrian, those streets with the cobblestone. So, with the wheelchair, it's, unless you have someone actually pushing you, it's gonna be a little challenging. But pretty much, hotels, hotel apartments, streets, museums, all that, they are accessible for handicapped people. Unless, you're climbing up in a mountain and, it's a cobblestone street. Yeah, that might be it's going to be hard.
We have some questions rolling in if you would recommend renting a car to get around Cyprus.
Absolutely. Driving in Cyprus is on the left side, by the way, just like England. Getting around, it's very easy with the rental car. The highways connecting each city, signs are in English. You can either rent a car, you can book some tours if you don't want to drive. There are several tour companies offering tours all over the island. You can use public transportation. There's no train, but there are intercity buses, intercity taxis that are quite inexpensive. You can get from one town to the other and some of the big villages. So it's, I suggest renting a car if you can drive on the left side and if you don't have a problem. It's not a lot of traffic. It's very safe, and it will get you to areas where you can get with a bus.
Thank you, Tasula. Going back to the question about the villas, can you talk to us a little bit about the average cost of renting a house?
The average cost of renting a house, it could go up to, depending on, how luxurious it is, but you can get something for 180 to 100 euro a day, approximately.
Thank you.
But if you're, Cara, I'm sorry, if you rent it for a month, they might give you a better price. For example, my sister rented, just to give you an example, this summer she had a beautiful apartment near the ocean. It wasn't a house, it was an apartment though, but she rented for 3 months over the summer and it was like 2,000 euro. And it had a pool. So for the whole summer, pretty much 3 months, almost close to 3 months. So it depends. If you get it long term, they might give you a better price. But on average, it's about 85 to 100 euro per day for something basic.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tasula. Looks like our last two questions for the good of the group. Even though any time of year is good to visit, is there a high or a low time?
The high season in Cyprus is, I would say, it's between June to the end of August, with the higher season even higher, July and August. Shoulder months are May, September, October, and off season is anytime between November and March. But it's a good time for Americans to visit because the weather is still nice, it's more affordable, you can get very good prices on the hotels, on the airfares, and the weather is nice. But I would avoid probably July and August because a lot of Europeans go, it's extremely hot, and prices are very high.
Oh, thank you for that insider tip, Tasula. And our last question for the good of the group is, I'm probably saying this wrong, so I do apologize. Kenria, a beach destination? Kyrena, maybe?
Keringa, it's in the occupied areas of Cyprus. You know, people can visit for the day. I haven't been since the Turkish invasion. But, you know, people, as long as they enter and leave the island through the legal ports of entry, which is Larnaca and Paphos airports, and the port of Limassol, they can visit Keringa and come back.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Tasula. I just want to remind everybody that this webinar was being recorded, so should you have anybody that you think this would be beneficial for, or if there's something that you would like to rewatch yourself, please feel free to check back in our video resource library just after Thanksgiving, where this recording will be available. And also a reminder, before we log off today, to go ahead and download a PDF copy of Tasula's amazing presentation in the handouts section of your GoToWebinar pane. Now, Tasula, if I could trouble you for a drum roll, please. It is time for our very anticipated giveaway.
Yes.
Okay. So today, the winner of our Cyprus Comprehensive Wine Guide and a bottle of Commandaria dessert wine, one of the oldest named wines in the world, is going to be Mr. Mark Sastry. Mark, I will be connecting you with Tasula post this webinar. I am very jealous of your prize winnings. I am definitely going to have to harass Tasula for a bottle of my own, but hopefully you enjoy it nearly as much as I do. Thank you all so much for joining us on today's presentation. Tasula, do you have any closing words for our advisors?
I just want to thank everyone for participating today, and we look forward to be welcoming you to Cyprus. Please reach out to me for any questions. If you're interested in a farm trip, you have my email address. Again, it's gocyprus@aol.com, and we'll be more than happy to connect with you and see how we can help you promote our beautiful island, as well as host you in Cyprus. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Tasula. On behalf of all of our advisors, I hope that everyone has a great rest of their afternoon.
Thank you.